Hi, and welcome back to Wandering Wild. It's Forgotten Friday, and we're going to talk all about the Atlas bear. Okay, so the Atlas bear was once a native bear to North Africa. It lived in the Atlas Mountains, stretching from Morocco to Libya, and at this time, it was the only native bear to Africa. Now, this bear was brownish black in color and had long shaggy hair on the top, while the color of its underparts was more of a reddish brown. Now, though it was very similar to our American black bear, the claws and muzzle were actually much shorter. Now, this would have been a large bear, about 9 feet long and weighing up to 1,000 pounds. It was an omnivore, like most bear species, but fed mostly on acorns and nuts and herbs. However, it did have the ability to eat meat if it was necessary. Now, usually we say that the decline of a species was not due to one particular thing. It was a culmination of things, from habitat loss to climate change to hunting. And why that's mostly true for the Atlas bear, we can actually pretty much attribute its decline and then extinction to the Roman Empire. So when the Roman Empire moved into North Africa, they found these very large bears. And if you know much about the Roman Empire, you may have heard of gladiators, which were their warriors, who they would put in colosseums to either fight each other or to fight wild animals. So the more wild, the more exotic, the more large and ferocious an animal, the more perfect the Romans saw it to put it in their colosseum. And this is the fate that met the Atlas bear. So not only did they intensely hunt this bear, they also intensely captured it for use in their colosseums to fight their gladiators. Now, gladiators were not a short-lived sport in the Roman Empire. It went on for hundreds of years. So within this time, thousands upon thousands of Atlas bears were used in the sport. Now, the thing is, they themselves were not responsible for the pure extinction of the Atlas bear. By the time the Roman Empire had declined and kind of turned into Italy, so to speak, we still had Atlas bears. And up until 1850, even though they were hunted vigorously, firearms did not have the power to take down an Atlas bear. So the Roman Empire really hurt their population, took it down really low to where the possibility of recovery seemed very unlikely. And then they got a little bit of extra help in that the hunters really didn't have the firepower to bring them down because they were so large. However, with the creation of modern firearms after 1850, that firepower did exist. And so the ability to go take down this large animal became a very large sport. And in the end, with their already low numbers because of the Roman Empire, this hunting didn't last very long before there were no Atlas bears left. And by the late 19th century, this bear was extinct to us forever. The last known record of an Atlas bear was in the Tetuan Mountains of northern Morocco in 1870. Now, it's a sad story that we lost this bear and that we'll never get to see it again, but it does bring up some thoughts about whether those bears needed to be hunted. Were they being eaten for food? Were they providing sustenance for people? Or were people just hunting them for the pure sport? And just because they wanted to say that they could have brought down such a large animal. And there's a lot of morality issues surrounding that, and everyone has to form their own opinion. But in this case, hunting and sport really did bring down this miraculous beast. And that's why hunting regulations and our departments that take care of this are so important. And it's really important that we know that hunting is important, because a lot of times with some species, we have too many, just like the white-tailed deer that we talked about the other day. And our development of the land has actually helped this animal to increase to a point where the animals are no longer healthy and they don't have predators because maybe their predators didn't do well with us urbanizing or using agriculture on their land. So By interrupting the environment, it's actually important that we help regulate some species through hunting. And that's why we have departments and things that help regulate this so that we keep them to normal numbers that are healthy for them, and that we ourselves don't get too carried away and maybe lose them forever. Now, sometimes places don't have these regulations, and that's when you're going to see problems like what happened with the Atlas bear. Now, we did lose the Atlas bear in a time virtually before hunting regulations. So in this day and age, we like to hope that regulations are going to be in place to protect animals. But where they aren't, it's important that we have our own say in when it's right and when it's not to hunt an animal, and what animals can recover from or what animals are necessary to hunt. So just keep it in mind and do your own research. Decide what you think. And it's important to be aware, because hunting is very important. And a lot of times we think, oh my gosh, they're killing animals, that's horrible. And to an extent, it is sad to kill any animal. But always keep in mind, prime example is deer. Because we've lost a lot of their predators like mountain lions and bobcats and things here in the South, because of all our urbanization, there are too many white-tailed deer. And because of this, they're sick. There's too many of them, there's not enough food. So that's actually hurting them. Now, if we're able to go in as a predator and we're still going to eat the meat, we're going to use the skins, we're going to be conscious hunters, then there's really no problem with hunting. However, when hunting like with the Atlas bear, where it's for pure sport, we have to ask, is this necessary and is this helping the animal? So just keep that in mind, and I will see you here next week on Wandering Wild. My sources are found in the description box below, and I've posted a few links if you're interested in how hunting works and hunting regulations. And as always, stay wild and never stop wondering.